Hello, hello. If you're early, welcome. I decided to get on early because I'm itching to get going. So, hello to everybody. Say hi in the chat and hit that like button. Today, I'm going to be talking about my gel printing best practices outline that I put together. Um, Admittedly, I did use a AI to put this together, but what it did was I directed it to comb my videos and put together a best practices outline based on videos I have done on gel printing. So it if you print it out, I made the print kind of big just because I'm blind and it's easier for me to read. It prints out as 19 pages, but you can, I'm sure, make the print smaller if you wanted to, or just not print it at all and just open it on your computer or your whatever device and look at it that way. Um, because that's why I set it up as a PDF, and it's available at PM Artist Studio Makers over on Facebook. So if you check that out today, I posted a link to this PDF and the live stream. So they're both in one post. Um, so let me say hello quickly to those of you who are here. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Alicia. Aubrey's here. And my favorite, Mariah's here. How are you guys today? Hope you're doing well. People really enjoyed that first outline that I did with the opaque paints. Um, and so I said, let me do this. Hi, Rosemary. For more of a general best practices for gel printing. Um, and I'm going to go through these like just basically. I'm not going to go into every single detail because it's a lot. Some of you may know some of this, some of you may not. This is great for refreshing yourself on different things about the gel plate. And then also, it's great for gel print beginners. Okay, so um, yeah. All right, Mariah. Mariah's out and about getting stuff done. Okay, so the first one is start with play and not perfection. So basically, have a good time. Don't go into gel, make it a gel print. And Karen talked about this on her live stream yesterday. I don't know if she's listening, but Karen talked about her, you know, when she goes in to intentionally make a certain kind of print, she disappoints herself. But when she goes into it and she just does it and she just goes with her gut, she has a much better time and she gets much better results. So think of it in that way. And here's the core principle: is the goal isn't to make one perfect print. The goal is to create possibilities. And just because you pull a print off the plate doesn't mean that that print is done, right? So you can add stuff, whether it be another layer of acrylic, you would be using your, um, cutting it up and using it in a collage, or you can go over it with your acrylic markers, or go over it with some gesso and just start again. All those things. Um, Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Yeah. If you're just joining me, I'm going over my gel printing best practices here in the live. Number two is understand the basic gel printing cycle. So basically, hi, Julie. It's good to see you, Julie Torrance. So a successful print generally follows this rhythm. And again, this is based on my videos on my channel. Apply plain paint to the plate. You spread the paint into a thin, even layer. Add a stencil, stamp, or texture, or other mark making element. Make the first pull. evaluate what remains on the plate, add another layer, remove paint, introduce another element. So you continue building until the print becomes more visible. And a great example of someone who does this is P at P Martin Studio. She may think something doesn't look great, but she doesn't give up on it. She'll set it aside and then come back to it another day, or she'll, immediately go, "Oh, maybe I could do this and tweak it this way," and that sort of thing. Um, paint less is usually more, and so I think consciously I've been working on that. I know Karen was talking about that in her live yesterday, um, and knowing, admittingly, um, or what's the best way to put it? She consciously knows that she's putting out too much paint, so she's consciously trying to work on that. And I think if the minute you say it out loud, you go, okay, so that's something you can work on. Because here, like, too much paint can create muddy or overly wet prints. It can produce incomplete or broken images. Um, and it splashes sometimes, or it leaves like clumps of paint in certain areas. So when you pull the print, you go, "Oh, why is the one big spot of paint there, but it's all spread out everywhere else?" And that's usually because there's too much paint. uh, and then it goes into more about paint, into working with the characteristics. So opacity, transparency, drying time, color length, color strength, layering. We talked a lot about that on the last live stream: opaque versus transparent paint. Number 4, building prints in layers. Um, stencils help with that. Mark making, also, you know, focusing on positive and negative space. Avoid making every layer equally strong. Some layers should recede. Carrie, the crafter, is good at this when he's doing his 12 by 12 pieces. He's good at deciding what layers need to be pushed back a little more, and sometimes he achieves that with white paint or a thinner layer of a lighter color, kind of to push something back, and then he'll add more, and so that creates a more dynamic print. Um, let's see. Learn how to use stencils as more than shapes. Your stencil work demonstrates an important principle. A stencil isn't just a tool for putting a shape onto paper. You can also use it to remove paint, to create negative space, to interrupt a layer, reveal an earlier layer, create repeated patterns, produce shadows, create unexpected secondary images, become part of a larger composition. Experiment with the stencil placement. And that can be anything like this here. Like, we use masks on this particular print on the last live stream, you know. And so this is a placement choice. There's also, like the Karen McCoy method, where she puts several stencils of different patterns on the plate. They're touching, um, and she uses that as her foundation to then add paint, big pull prints. Um, Alter a stencil. So you see that a lot on PMR Studio, where P likes to alter her stencils. And I have one here that I want to show ya. So this one I've had for a little bit, and I was organizing my stencils the other day because I'm a nerd. And this one is by Yolande. This is called Dragon DNA, and this is the 8x10. And PM Artist Studio recommends, when you do get if you do want to alter your stencils, it's best to get the 8x10, because, as you can see, you get more space to work with. I like to come in with a pencil and draw out the areas. So, like, for example, here with the eye, this is an easy one because I already have that shape going. I just have to continue it like that if I wanted to. All right. So we got that, and then let's say for these lines here, I can extend it like that. But keeping in mind, if you overcut too much, uh, keeping in mind the connection, so you're not cutting where you may accidentally, create a sensitive situation. So when you're pulling it off the plate, it's it can rip more easily. So take your time. So here you can see that will cut. I can maybe I can do that and then round that out. Do it that way. Let's get the. So my instinct is to go and shape the eyes out and do that. Because to me, that's the easiest part here. It's that it's just an easy V, a wide open V. Go. Don't worry about the pencil marks. No. Now you can go Darcy style. She just takes her scissors and she just starts cut. That's an option too. There are a couple of ways, of doing this, achieving this. This is the way I find that works best for me. So I know where I'm cutting and, avoiding any oopsies. So maybe here, kind of want to keep it organic. So maybe, round that out because there's a lot of wavy S shape type thing. So maybe keep it that way. I mean, I could go even further out because I do have a lot of space here, so I can give myself even more room in that respect. And then you grab your scissors, and this is easy to cut. Just take your time. It's also helpful to have, those smaller curved scissors like you use for your nails. Those are great to get into the little nooks and crannies. You can see here I created that, but you know what? I prefer the more rounded shape. So I'm just going to create a more rounded shape here for myself. It's more a loopy bit. Now, and this is where those little scissors will come in handy. I can't find mine at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about it. But what you can do is let me get my board here, my cutting board. If you got a little craft knife, come in with your craft knife and do it that way. And just be careful, watch your fingers. All right, it's easy as that. So you get the idea. I'm not going to do the entire one, the entire stencil, but you get the idea of best way to approach altering your stencil. Okay. Now, why would you want to alter your stencil? Well, it gives you a more organic edge to your gel print. Unless you like the bar, that's fine too. It's all personal. But if you like a more organic shape, then yeah, you want to go ahead and think about altering it. Okay, what's that? What's that? Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. I wish I'd done half of it before I started, but I flaked out on that. It was kind of a last minute thing anyway. If you're just joining me, I hope I'm not boring you too much with this, but I think it's important. And I think there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions and maybe don't want to ask them or are not sure how to ask them, and, as far as gel printing. So that's what I'm trying to do. Um, let's see, explore positive and negative stenciling. So a stencil can give you two fundamentally different kinds of information. Positive image, paint passes through the opening and creates an image. Negative image, the stencil blocks, removes, or protects paint. We touched upon that during the last live stream of how to use a stencil, like example on a brayer off to block off certain areas of paint. So this was the one I used as an example. So this was a brayer off, multicolored, and I used my retro block stencil with the paint through it to create these negative spaces. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind of. Experiment with the shadow technique. I might try some of that today. Couple of stencil. It's basically putting the stencil down, brayering over it, picking it up and doing it over and over all over the plate to create a unique textured look using the one stencil. Don't forget the second and third pull. The first pull isn't necessarily the best pull. Pay attention to what remains on the plate after removing. Um, a stencil, a mask, a stamp, a textured object, a layer of paint, that remaining information can create beautiful ghost images and secondary prints. Um, Use texture aggressively. Gel printing becomes more interesting when you introduce physical texture. Again, stencil stamps, found objects, other paper, foam, drawing tools, scraping tools, handmade marks. But I will say, scraping tools, it's a gel plate. It's not a rock. So you want to use things that are gentle to your plate. Don't go, scraping at your plate with a palette knife and then be surprised when you cut into it and ruin your plate. So keep that in mind. Texture can be printed, removed, partially printed, repeated, interrupted. A best practice is, what can I print with this? Also ask, what mark can this make? So I like to use this. Where's my cup? Here's a good example. So something like this. Let's say you're at the thrift store and you see something like this. This is something I look at and I go, oh, this would make really interesting marks on the plate. Um, and when you start doing that, you're going to find yourself doing that more and more and more when you're out and about in the world, even if it's not shopping, even if it's somewhere, you go, oh, and you see I don't know, something, or even like plant life. You see a leaf out there, you go, oh, look, this is a fake one, but I'll show you. This has paint on it already. You go, oh, that leaf would look really cool on the gel plate. I wonder what it would, what kind of marks it will make. So always keep your eye out for mark making opportunities. Use drawing and mark making as part of the process. So that's kind of a continuation on there. We did that with the woodies in the last live stream and the charcoal pencil. Where, let me see, made some prints. So I drew on plain piece of paper with my charcoal pencil, and then I rubbed it onto the gel plate. Oh, hello, Paula. Welcome. And then got the transfer, and you just pick it up with paint, and you can get a couple of transfers from that print. So this was the first one. That was the second one. We tried it with the woodies transferring to the plate. It didn't work as well. This was the woodies, more waxy. And this was taking the woody, wetting it in some water because they're water soluble, drawing on the plate, letting it dry, and then pulling it with paint. Those types of things. Embrace imperfection. Things like misregistration, if it's uneven. broken edges, unexpected overlaps. So it's not something that you necessarily need to fix. Look at it. And if you're not sure before you do anything, set it to the side. Wait another day and come back to it and look at it again. Work with the whole sheet. Don't become overly focused on the center of the paper. Darcy's really good at this. I was watching her the other day when she was on with Cheryl, the whole bucket. Um, she doesn't just focus on one area, and she doesn't make each layer absolutely perfect. Every layer is a working layer, and she just builds and builds and builds, and then creates beautiful stuff. Make painty papers on purpose. They're great for collage, journals, focal elements, backgrounds, yada yada yada. Again, depending on the type of paper, using your tissue, like we made our. Oh, where did I put that thing? Where did I put it? Oh, oops. So, like, this is a good advantage of using tissue, making gel prints on tissue, is that you can do projects like this. So, this is the toilet paper wall hanging that Paula showed me how to do, and I did it on a video yesterday. So, this is just tissue that I've glued onto the toilet paper rolls. Obviously, the toilet paper has been used. Hello, Karen. Happy Thursday. I've been talking about you. So there's that. Explore printing on different papers. Gel printed tissue, especially versatile. Just talked about that. Don't be afraid of black or dark surfaces. Uh, so, like with your printing on dark surfaces changes the role of color. Instead of thinking, why isn't this color showing? Ask yourself, what colors and materials are designed to work against this background? So, like, Karen likes to use black paper when she's pulling prints, and she can get some really amazing results with that. So, think about that when you're choosing papers to print on. Um, a good experiment is to get a selection of all kinds of different papers that you might already have and experiment with it. Maybe cut them into smaller sizes, so you have more to experiment with, and you don't feel like you're wasting your papers. Um, Black tissue is great. Experiment with metallic and specialty paints. Don't overwork the print. A common temptation is to keep adding layers, but every layer you want to ask, what does this print actually need? More contrast, texture, color, so on and so forth. Use your prints as starting points. So again, different things you can use your prints for: collage, painting, drawing, journaling, bookmaking, paper crafts, mixed media work, yada yada. Develop a personal visual vocabulary. So over time, pay attention to the things you repeatedly gravitate toward. Perhaps it's certain colors, perhaps it's certain stencils or shapes. Are you more into the organic shapes? Are you more into the linear? Are you more into the whatever? Metallic. How do you use metallic paints when you print? Um, Becky, she's great at using metallics um, really well to create impactful prints. I have a couple of, I think these are from Becky. Yes, these are from Becky. So these are some samples of her gel prints that she has sent me. And these are, yeah, it's regular paper. And as you can see, like on this one, there's metallic on there, but she's also done the shadow technique with the stencil. You can see it in the same stencil, but in different positions on the plate. Hey, all right, Mariah, she's back at HQ. Because, yeah, don't forget, today at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central is Thursday Thoughts over at PMR Studio, which is where you'll find me. So keep that in mind. Let's see. What are some more metallic ones? Of course, the metallic ones I can't find. I do have some. Let's see. Like here, there's two metallics, but look how beautiful that is, right? There was another one that had. What? Where are you, Jesse? I had a whole bunch yesterday. Trying to organize stuff and separate things out to send to Cheryl, who made the hat. What hat? Those prints I was just showing, those were from Becky. Hey, Ann Webb, how are you? Experiment instead of following the rules. A great way to gel print. Oh, oh yeah, Izzy looks super cute in her first day back at school picture. She's now in the fourth grade. If you didn't know, Izzy is Mariah's baby. Yeah, she had a baby. Um, keep the what if question going. When something works, ask, what if I do it again? What if I reverse it? What if I use a different color? And if you watched Karen's live stream yesterday, she kind of did that. We worked together to kind of solve a problem she had with layering stencils and what color to pull so that the layers you want to show will show and how to get that. And we went through that yesterday in her live stream. And that's another way of really learning how to develop your own style. Okay. And take notes. Right. There's two sides to the paper. Write notes on the paper. Keep a journal of them. So that you can come back and go, okay, I created this print using this stencil and I put it down first, and then I added, then I used these paints in this particular brand, and then I used, a flop off to add another layer to that so that's what I did with this one is I added, you can see the roadblocks, the retro blocks is sitting on top. It's a very faint layer, but it adds interest without really taking away from the original layer underneath that I really love, but it needed something, right? So that's that. Here's another experiment we did that it works, but for me, it wasn't as impactful as I wanted it to be. So this is the one using whirly birds where I did two layers. I did a transparent green gold, flipped the stencil, added the gold on the second layer, and then pulled it with silver. Hello, Rhonda. I'm glad you're here today. I know. Yeah, Izzy's like getting so big. They grow up too fast. But as I pulled this last night and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I could have gone with a darker color and I think it would have made my green gold stand out a little more. But then think about it and go, okay, well, also, this could be the type of print I use when I want something more subtle in the background, that type of thing. Um, so there's different ways of looking at it. Um, practical gel printing workflow. So basically, it's like gathering what you need, have extra paper, get the stencils you need. So before I do a live, I usually do a selection of stencils, and I don't necessarily use all of them, but I have an idea of what I have in a little pile over to the side, and I can, easily grab them and go, okay, I've got this, and remember, oh, I've got this, so I can use that. Um, have decide whether you're experimenting, making collage papers, or developing a finished piece. So there's some days where I'll just pull out prints that um, I know aren't my favorites, but that could do with another layer or two or something, else on top. Um, so maybe keep boxes of different stages of your prints. Finished, needs another layer, needs two more layers, needs try to do that. Hello, Vanessa. Rhonda says, Eddie, I saw someone putting napkins over book pages. The tissue prints could be fun glued over book pages so the words show through. Yes, that is a great idea. So Rhonda's talking about is, of course, I can't find any book pages. I think I have some in here. Yeah. She's talking about this might not work because the silver is opaque, but taking a it's too dark. What do I got? What do I got? All right. Let's say this is tissue paper. It's deli paper, but same diff. So Ron is talking about laying it over book page like that, and you can see the paper you're printing underneath that, and it's thin enough where it's not going to add too much bulk, but you get a really cool effect. So great idea, yeah. Yes. So yeah, like the medical exam paper, that's a great one to use because that will melt. Typically, will melt into the background. So it's not like you don't see like white. It's harder with Carnival because it's made. It's a wet strength tissue, so it's made to be strong. Um, so keep that in mind. Hey, Alyssa, I didn't see you come in there. Yeah, you could use your matte medium. Yeah, I would even use like Elmer's glue because sometimes Elmer's glue um, is just fine when you're gluing something down like that. But test it out. You never know. That's the other thing we were talking about earlier is experiment. And you don't have to experiment with big pieces. Do small little ones. Like maybe take a quarter of that page, put some tissue down, and glue that down and see how it works for you. Try separating that book page, cutting it into four pieces, and gluing two types of tissue on two different ones, and another type of tissue on the other two, and maybe use different acrylic mediums or glues on each one, and see what you think. Let's see. Eddie makes art gel printing mindset. Basically, the most important best practice isn't a particular paint, stencil, or tool. It's the willingness to experiment. Gel printing works best when you play, observe, layer, repeat, modify, take risks, accept accidents, reuse what you've already created, turn mistakes into opportunities, and develop your own visual language. The ultimate rule is don't try to make the right gel print, make the next interesting gel print. This approach is consistent with the exceptional experimental character of my channel. From my beginner abstract printing demonstration video, which is like the main video when you go on my page, that's what plays. Or to my more recent explorations of stencil techniques, altered stencil, shadow technique, reverse stenciling, specialty paints, yada 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 yada. There you go. And there's a link to my channel. But yeah, so if you go over to Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists, that's over in it's Facebook. It's the group run by PM Artist Studio. I posted I don't know if I posted last night or early this morning um this guide that you can download. Yes, it is free. I put a lot of work into it. So keep that in mind. And let's see if this will work. Ah. Try new things on the Nightbot here. Yeah, so if you want to support me in my work, donating to my Ko-fi. That is a great place to help me out. Some people do super chats here on YouTube, but I will be honest with you, YouTube takes a very large cut. So uh, Kofi is probably the best way, and then I have stuff that you can purchase on Kofi, like there's like digital downloads and stuff. You can donate that way. You know, every little bit helps, and it keeps me being able to come back and show you all this wonderful stuff. And um, like I said, it takes time to put these together. So, and I know y'all appreciated the first one. So I was very happy to be able to share the second one with you. But yeah, it's a lot of work and it's free because I think it's important. Um, but yeah, any bit of support does help the channel. That's muy importante. All right, let's get some of this stuff out of the way. There's a couple of prints that I need to pull from Tuesday. So I need to get, you can go yonder over there. I don't need you anymore. And so I put out 2 videos yesterday. I don't know if it was the eclipse or what, but I was in a sort of mood. So I took advantage of it while I was watching Karen. Hi, Penka. While I was watching Karen's live stream yesterday, I pulled out my gel plate and did a bunch of background papers using my um, craft paints. And I made them in fall colors, kind of inspired by Miss Darcy. So let's see. So these were all papers that we did last live stream. So it's a review. This is one of the last ones we did where we did the stencil on the plate, paint over it, pull the stencil, and then added that layer of paint to a brayer off to create that. Paula said, here's my experiment today. TP rolls still, covering each one with my Japan thicker paper I made a while ago, and then stapling each one for the gel print storage. Can't wait to see it. That Paula is a clever sausage, I have to tell you. And this print, it's growing on me. I mean, I liked it before, but I like it even more now. So we pulled with lavender. No, it was a lavender layer we pulled with ivory. That was fun. Some of these I did off camera. No, that was done during the live. This was done during the live. This was a tricky one because we blended gold with the purple as an ombre, but we did it over a layer of yellow ochre dots. And we can, and we were kind of worried because what happens oftentimes is when you put purple, and Karen can testify about this, when you put purple and yellow together, you can get a brown. Sometimes it creates a really, really beautiful grungy look. And if so keep that in mind. That's why I say experiment with your colors and paints and all that. But yeah, in this case, it worked because it was a thick enough layer, I think, of the opaque, of the yellow ochre, which is opaque. And the dots are Dottie Miss Dottie. The bloom is from a set of bloom stamps. It comes in a grouping from PM Artist Studio, and I cut mine up into the individual blossoms, and that's what I had here. And this here was with Paula's Smashing Pumpkins in the phthalo green, light phthalo green, and the black was my Twisted Flower, and I pulled it. They're both opaque. pulled it with the transparent, I believe transparent red iron oxide, and that gives it a really good kind of glow. And then we did this one here, similar to that purple and gold one. And then this one here. So this is a great example of when you have a wet stencil and an extra plate, flop off that stencil onto the extra plate. And I did that with two stencils. I did that first with Paula's Smashing Pumpkins, and then with my Twisted Flowers behind it, and then pulled it with a that teal metallic paint. And isn't that beautiful? So nice. So me and Paula playing really nicely down by the schoolyard. All right, let me get these out of the way, and we'll get to printing. I got my backgrounds ready. Hi, Twisted Arts. You're as you are. All right, got a pile of stuff over there. So here's the one, the bigger one. Wanted to let that dry. There was a lot of paint on there. I was gonna pull it, and I said, "Nah, let me pull it. I'll pull it on camera." I get itchy, and I want to like pull it. I want to look at it, and I'm like, "Wait." Other people might want to look at it, and people love watching a pull when you pull a print. All right, crack my edges here so I don't rip this. But this is on Carnival wet strength tissue paper. Okay. All right, hang on, guys. Oh, thanks for dropping those links, Mariah. Yeah, you guys can use the hashtags too. There's hashtag shop. There's hashtag Eddie. There's hashtag sport. You can do hashtag color. It'll give you a color choice. But my Nightbot is not as sassy as Mariah's Nightbot. I haven't figured out how to make her sassy. So this was a result of 2 layers of transparent paint, and then a layer of, and then we put the masks down and did a layer of titanium white, which is an opaque, and then we pulled it with orange. Ta-da! Whew. It takes years to get that attitude. Ooh, that was a thick one. That was a hard one to pull. That took forever. So see, the orange was really awesome here. And it looks honestly like the orange was on top of everything, but it's not. It's an illusion. So that's another thing to keep in mind is when you're layering things is what's going to show up first, what's going to be on top. And that's why I say put your plates on a plastic sheet like this, the plexiglass, so you can flip it over, because when you flip it over, that's the first thing you're gonna see. That's your first layer. And that makes all the difference too, especially when you are first learning how to gel print. Okay, buckwheat. Okay. Who knows about buckwheat? Big plates everywhere. Yeah, that was my loud brother, by the way. Comes in like a storm, I swear. Okay, so this was gold layer left over from a flop off. I added a layer of red with my Flores Geométricas. And then I pulled it with Prussian blue. So gold, Naphthol red, and Prussian blue. Paula, this is right up your alley. Ah, love that one. Right? All right. That's a goodie. That's a goodie. So there's one left, but this one actually needs paint on it. We haven't put paint on here yet. And this is the one I was telling you in the last live stream that I thought I'm going to pull it with a blue because I think a blue would look really good with this combo here. So this is my Whirly Bird stencil, and the first color was terracotta, and the second color was yellow ochre. Ochre, as Cardi B would say. Who knows Cardi B? And who knows about ochre? Now, I want a specific one. Here we are. Oh, you say metallic blue, Rhonda? I was going to go with the light blue permanent, but let me see what metallic blues I have. Let me see here. So I have this one here. There is this one here, pearl sky blue. Put my glasses on because this writing on these containers are just too ridiculous. That's very dark. That's even darker than that. Turquoise. I have pearl electric blue, which is pretty much this same metallic blue here. No, it's green. No. Not as many blues as I was expecting. Well, there's a pearl glacier blue. No. Not a fan for this combo. That's it. All right. Definitely not that. All right. So what are we thinking? The this blue, the this blue. All right. So let's say 1, 2, or 3. Let me know in the chat. To mix them. All right. Let's mix them up. So 2 and 3 get top billing. So we'll mix them up here. We'll do some dotting. Little dots of paint. Little dots. Sing to your plate. They like it. Unless you're a terrible singer, then just keep quiet. Hi, Meg. How are you? Try not over mix it. All right. That's good. That's bueno. Papel. Not that kind. Let this dry. Whew. It's another hot one today. I tell you what. It keeps saying, "Oh, it's gonna cool down. It's gonna cool down," but no, it's hot. It's humid. It's icky. Can't sleep. I sleep in like batches because the humidity just wakes me up, and I'm like, ugh. So I get up and drink something, and then stay up for an hour and go back to bed. Meg, you locked yourself out of the house. Well, I'm glad you made it back in. I've done that before. All right. All right. That's going to be a gorgeous one. Gorgeous, gorgeous. You got the way. Get out the way. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's start with whirly birds. Not whirly birds. Whirly webs. Oh, hello, Miss High Flying Zal. She's like a celebrity. She's flying all over the place lately. Where are you heading off to, Zal? Bigger one, the bigger plates. Oh boy. I hope the locksmith didn't charge you an arm and a leg. Trying to keep it all squared. I don't want Mariah poking me with her stick. Kansas City to a crafting event. Oh, girl. I hope you have a wonderful time. Hi, Barb. Welcome. Nah. Getting webby with it. So I got this a while ago, and I never used it. And I'm like, I gotta pull this out. Hello, zippity doodah. How are you? This is the whirly birds. Whirly birds. I keep saying that. Whirly webs by Rhonda Dona. All right. So let's think about this. I got a bunch of papers here that I made on my last night. There's a video for that. So fall colors, and I use my craft paints. But it's some really interesting backgrounds. I like some of these, very fallish. These blue ones are cool. Some of them look like denim. So I'm thinking, should start with one of these. Yeah, we'll start with this one. Let's do one layer. Oh, Meg, so sorry. That's terrible. At least you had pajamas on. Yeah. I'm just saying, because some folks, they sleep and they all together. Um, I'm trying to think of to um, how to approach this. Oh, you got to post them. If you got the video, just post it, Rhonda. All right. How about maybe I'll do this. Maybe what I do is I'll get some paint on here, flop off onto the stencil. Let's see here. Go with Payne's Gray. Oh no. At least you got a funny story out of it, Meg, right? So I'm just playing around today, making some fall papers, maybe Halloweeny papers with my webs or Rhonda's webs. There's also Walter's Web, I believe it's called. That's another web stencil over at PMR Studio. So the reason I chose the Payne's Gray is because I wanted a darker layer, but not necessarily black. That makes sense. All right. So what I do is I go over it. Ow. That was right in my finger, Eddie. Just be careful, it's a brand new stencil. We don't want it to stick on us. So there. One layer. I like it. All right. Let's pull this. Let's maybe on this green one. Here it's got some blobby stuff going on. But see, I wasn't seeking out perfect prints. I was seeking out interesting backgrounds that I could use to build on. So it was, if you watch the video I put out, it's a bunch of quick pulls, just throwing paint on the plate and picking it up. This is different for me because I'm usually not up to speed on holidays and stuff like that. I usually don't. I'm not that sort of artist crafter person. Kind of do what I want to do when I feel like it. Hi, Ava. Oh, you at least you got part of it. It's still there. Yeah, you tell him Eddie is on. It's prime time. Call me later. Oh, look at that. And see those funky areas of patches? Kind of worked in my favor because it gives me like little highlights. Kind of cool. Very, very nice. And then I have Here, let's try one. Hey, Mo. Hope you're staying cool, Mo. I know it's hot over there. It's even hotter over there than it is here at the moment. Uh, let's try some of this phthalo blue. That was the bottle. Uh, 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 uh. So down. We're gonna pull through the paper. Pull through the stencil onto the paper. Exactly. Sound effects are free, baby. I was in a Lyft car the other day, and the driver's from Cape Verde, and I was talking to him about that. And he's been here for over 20 years, and we were talking about how hot it is here. And he's like, "Oh, in my country too." I was like, "Yeah, I have friends in London and that area who just suffer because like they're not AC, they don't have AC like we do here in the States." And he's like, "Oh no, that's the worst part. My country is the same. Nobody has air conditioning. It's so hot." It's like, I need my air. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have my air on because it's just too much. Whoop, whoop. There you go. Look at that. Again, if you're just joining me, I'm using Whirly Webs. This is by Rhonda Dona, who's in the chat. Griffin Shale is her name in the chat. By her. Okay. And then we've got this underneath here. Let's put that on. We'll put it on this one. This is interesting. Yeah. Hopefully that blue didn't dry too quickly. If you didn't know, blue paints do dry a lot faster than most other colors. All right, so here, Paula, Paula's telling us about the Dutch air conditioning system. She lives in Holland or in Amsterdam. Put your wine in the freezer, open the back door, and walk around in your knickers. Oh, Europe, you're so different. More like Florida. Uh, yeah, there's nothing worse than stagnant air. Yeah, you see how quickly that started drying? I literally like it wasn't that long, but I got most of it, and I'm happy about that. Ah, got some, these are my X's. This is my distress crosses. This is style 1. Give whirly birds a break. Try some of this brown here. This is raw umber. Make sure that that's sticking down well. Rhonda or Paula says, Rhonda, it's okay. My knickers are huge and organic cotton. All right, got a little brown there. And with these, what I kind of want to do is just kind of make some marks on papers. Just add little X's and stuff. What stencil there? Little here, a little bit here and there. Just adding little bits and pieces. This one. Don't know what I'm doing with these papers as of yet. Probably maybe I'll make tags, ephemera, something. Because I'm sending a lot of my stuff that I've already made out to Cheryl. Yes, that's why I chose it, because it goes with it's got the Halloweeny kind of gothic vibe, right? Gothic back in the day when they first started using that term, that was a slur. So, no, isn't that interesting? I'm gonna just back down. No. And it might pull up some of that webby stuff that was underneath, and that's cool too. So, there you go. It's wet. Let me hang you up to dry. All right, I'm gonna get a layer down of paint on here. It's quite cold. Mike could get something fun out of there, right? You know what? I've got this is Lucy Ames Bramble Branches. This one. It's a mask. Let's do a shadow technique. Okay? Do a shadow technique. What color do I want? Don't know. Let's do this brilliant yellow green. Now I'm going to mix this. Usually I do it on the smaller plate and then add it to my big plate, but whatevs. Let me get more paint on here. I'm going to add some paint retarder to this so it doesn't dry out so fast on this. Paint extender is great. It's or retarder, same thing. Um, to give you more working time with your paints. Usually that's my ratio, about 3 or 4 to 1. And I mix it in straight into the, like I put it on top of the paint, not directly on the plate. Go. This will give us a little bit of extra time to play around. You can go in there. All right, Sal, safe travels and have a great time out there. Hi, Shannon. Welcome, welcome. Spray this out. All right. FAF extender, that's right. You can FAF about. So you put your stencil down, go over it with your brayer, flip it around, move it about the cabin. We're basically trying to create texture, pulling some of that paint off. And just, go over it and over it until you get the look you're going for. Get some of that off of there. Let's get beige. Here, we'll do it on this sort of beigey brown one. I got to adjust the AC. It's too hot. You know what it is? It's the humidity that really bugs me. That's what makes me feel yucky. Ooh, look at that. It's a bonus because we got the spider web that was left behind, plus the shadow technique. How cool that turned out. Definitely Halloween vibes on that. Let's do it again. I actually have an open paint if I can find it. I always lose it when I want to talk about it. I see it. I see it. All right, so I've got this one. This is Indian yellow hue. And so when you go to the Golden brand, they have a specific paint that has the extender already built into it. So your paint will dry slower. You have more working time. You'll see right there, open. Golden is the only one that does that. Otherwise, you want to look for an additive like the retarder or a paint extender. I wish I had more. I don't have, I think that's the only open one I have. But the extender works great. I've used it several times and I don't mind it at all. We'll do another. We'll do shadow again. It would be Rhonda, but it works both ways. So let's give me a second. If I have time, I can think about what print I want to use. I don't know. Somebody says use this one, so I'm going to use this one. Ooh, don't talk about food. I'm hungry. Okay. Not the best. Not the best. That's for sure. I mean, I like the color. It's just the shadow technique. I just didn't work as well as I'd hoped with this one. But let's let it dry, and we'll come back to it later. Figure out something else to do with that. Okay. Um, get back to my web because I did want to make some webby prints. Make some. That's. I have an idea. Just I can't get it out yet. All right, I've got some parchment here. Da-da-da. Um, Mhm. Why paint? Watch paints. Love when you have an idea and it just it goes away. Anyway, Let's just do a layer of the parchment. I was trying to think of another color to mix this with, but just wasn't clicking. Now there's some yellow left on here from the open paint, so that'll be fine. I'm going to get a nice layer on top of the stencil here. So I want to flop off onto another paper. I need more room. Too bad. I don't know if there's a spider one just yet that's already available. I have a spider coming out next month. Aha. So that's fun because it took off some of the blue that was on the stencil. I love that. Mo's in the background, Paula. She's lurking. I think she's doing some work for MI5 or MI6 right now. So we get this one here. Maybe we'll do like a light touch on this one so it's not just a little bit here and there. I like that. I like that vibe. Sweet. That is already dry. Wow. But you see, no, it's just one size. I don't know exactly what size because it's out of my hands right now, but we'll have to wait until September. I don't know if Mariah has that info yet, so I'm not going to say, Mariah, what's the size? Because I don't know. I don't know if she knows either. Well, that's good. I like it. We got a little bit of something going on there. A little bit of something. We can pull this something else. Maybe we'll just add the stencil back. Yeah, that's what I thought, Mariah. So I didn't want to put words in your mouth because it is still early August anyway. Dried fast, but I would do a little bit more. All right, I'm barely touching it, just lightly. That way I get more choppy. Look at that. See, it works even better when the paint's still wet. There you go. Let's see what else I can get. We'll do some light layers on this one too. No plans here, guys. I'm just kind of doing stuff here and there. Oh, I'm going to get to the stamps in a second, so y'all be patient. I got some stamps I want to show you that are available now. that are in the Halloween vibe. That's cool, right? I don't know if I can get any more off there. Let's see. Not much. This is pretty dry. That is dry. Um, that dried off. Yeah. So, got skeleton stamps. Yeah, there's four. Here it was web's corner web stamp here. And then one of the skulls. Cat hair. One of the skulls. Spiders. There is, you know what? There's a spider one that came out. That's like an OG stencil. I was looking at that the other day and totally forgot that that was there. And then I have my lantern flies, my cicadas, Bucky. Pulled out the waffle stamp. There's a big eye. This is one of Becky's. It's gothic, kind of. I forgot what it's called. Um, Here's my sun. This is wind or hurricane. And this is a Taino bird. So I pulled out a bunch of stuff to play with. So let's see. Yeah. Get some stuff out the way. I want to do some skeletons. Okay. Boots with the fur. Should use this. I'm going to use this as a holder. I'm going to use some fern because I want the stamping to be light and not be like the main thing. If that makes a little sense to you. I don't remember having two small ones, but okay. See. Sort of like so you get the hint of the doesn't have to be, full on. put them every which way so that no matter how I use the paper, it's you can tell it's like it's all over pattern and not necessarily the focal point. Yeah, and if you like Day of the Dead stuff, Paula has some Day of the Dead things. There we go. Another way to use your stamps. So there's stuff there, but it's like in the background, right? So I can, it's one more layer. So we're talking about earlier is adding layers, building up. Do that on this one too. And of course, I didn't get a bucket with water, but I can do that in a second. And don't be afraid to use like to come off the page with your stuff, with your stamp. That's another layer. Cat, not now. Now is not the time. Swear to God, that cat could eat 24/7. I can do something here too. Let's do. Do some bugs on this one. A little bit here and there. Let's do some more. Right. Let me use some of this paint on with the spider web. I do need to get some water to put my stamps in. Nice. It's subtle, but said it's a layer of many, I'm sure. Let me get some water for my stampies. I'll be right back. Took me a second. We're here. Let's drop these into the water. I'm gonna let this hang up for a bit. I should get it adjusted here. Now, I'm going to go old school for a second. Mariah. We got some Sashiko circles. These are great for adding marks to your stencil or to your print. Took my glasses off. I don't need those anymore. And it is let's see, it's 2:33. Yeah, I'll go for a little bit longer. So color again. We don't have left. Reds, yellows. Let's try some of this mauve. Those would look really cool embroidered, Rhonda. Yes, I agree. God, my mom used to love to embroider stuff, but hers was like very like cutesy, like stuff for like babies and yeah, do it monochromatic here. See, sometimes that's all you need. Get a little bit there. Put some here. There we go. Fun, fun, fun. Till her daddy took the T-bird away. Yes. Put this down. Now, we got to be careful because that was a clean stencil. You don't want to put the paper down too long because that can stick. Although there is already paint on the paper, shouldn't be a problem. There we go. Marky marks. And the Funky Bunch. Go back to that. Oh, you know what I have that I want to use? Do you know what I have that I want to use? This is gray. Where's my gray? Let's use some gray. This is neutral gray. Ooh. So Rhonda says she's tested the foam stamps with ink onto fabric and it stayed wash proof. Nice. What kind of ink was it, if you don't mind asking? It is a nice color, Paula, isn't it? It reminds me of a berry, like a color of a berry. Berry. And again, with these kind of stencils, take your time when you're pulling it off the plate. As someone commented on my last live stream, don't be a yanker. Because we were talking about that too during the last live stream. She wasn't calling me a yanker. Oh, lovely. Lovely. That's a good one. Let's see here. Nice. So Rhonda says, that's the thing, Eddie. It was either stays on or archival. I have to do it again. Gotcha. Well, at least it worked. You know, it worked. That's good. Just that one. Well, maybe we could add some circleage to this one. So, oh, I pulled out my. That's why I pulled out this stamp. So if you just want a stamp to create these circles, there's a stamp for that too. How about we do a little bit of flopping off onto this paper here. And if you missed it, these are papers, Painty paper backgrounds I created on a video that is up on my channel right now. It came out yesterday, and it was using my craft paints. So look, we added a nice layer here, but it doesn't overpower the print. All right. Hi, Purple Converse. This art technique is gel printing. And why did my feed freeze? Oh, there we go. That was just StreamYard. Yeah, this is, we're gel printing today. Payne's, Payne's gray on this layer. All right. Again, Payne's gray. Sometimes you want a dark color like a black, but you don't want the intensity of the black. And since I'm building layers and not doing like final bits, I thought the Payne's gray would be most excellent for that. Welcome, Zoe. Nice for you to stop by. I appreciate that. A little bit here, a little bit there. Hi, Jesse. The yellow one here. See if we can get anything off of here. Yeah, Mo is really good with names. I mean, I am too, but Mo's just really good at it. But when you mod as much as she does, you get to know the names. So, get another one. Let's add some here. So this stencil has, see, it's still wet. Nice. Oh. Paula, you've been hitting that grocery store again, girl? Mother Stanza, did I pull out? Oh, this one too. This is another one of Rhonda's. This one is, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it. It is Rhonda's Victorian Parlor Paper, Style 1. That's what I'm trying to say. But my English ain't good right now. All right, so let's see what papers we still need to add to. We still have a lot of these yellows, so maybe we'll do some on yellows. What color should we use? Now, I'm not using metallics right now because I am, like I said, I'm building layers, and I think for me, adding metallic would be like a gilding it, like the end. Um, so that's what I'm saying. When you're done with the paper, do you use it for other art? Yes, of course. I can use it to make journal tags. You can make journals. You can cover boxes with it, decorative boxes. Like I have a lot of my things. Let me see if I can find a box I can pick up easily. Nope, they're all big and heavy. So here's one. So here's a box that's covered in gel prints that I use for storage. Here's gel prints I cut down and sewed into little books. Oh, there's this just Sashiko. Look at that. So we've got little books made of gel prints. Those will go out to someone someday. All kinds of stuff you can do. Here's another one. This one is more details. Like it's like what you can do with one of these. So there's a lot of collage going on in here, layering bits and pieces, acrylic marker to make dots or stamping. I even got tissue in here. So, are you a brand now or all right, no color suggestions yet, huh? Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So for yellow, Halloweeny. You know what? You know what? Let me do a little bit of purple. Because why not? Oh, you know what might be good? This one. Violet oxide. If I do any metallics, I'm gonna wait till the very end. So I'm not doing metallics as of yet. Because I'm just building layers on these. I don't want to add the metallic just yet. And again, this is another one of Griffin Shale, aka Rhonda's designs. It's got two names. It's called Victorian Parlor Paper, aka Fancy Bread or Fancy Toast. I like to say Fancy Toast. Oh, I know. I did a whole bunch of prints the other day, like just pulling them with did a couple of layers of metallics and had fun with those. So I'm gonna put this one down gently, kind of touch it. Just gently go over it. because if you push too hard, it can smush out. And there's a lot of paint there, so I just want to make sure I didn't smush it all out. But isn't that beautiful? This one will do patches. Patches? Don't need no stinking patches. Right here, I don't mind if I distort it because it's just little bits color and stuff. And then what do we have here? Add some to this. Let's get some here, or you know what I can do? Put stencil down. Some up here. Very subtle, very subtle. But it's kind of like kind of has like a little bit of texture, you know? Just a little bit of something. Okay. Back in here, oopsie, oopsie. Two. Let's do a little Payne's Gray here. Glitter paint for gel printing. I've never tried that, so I can't say for sure. My only concern would be is if the glitter, if there's glitter pieces in the paint, it might affect the plate. But I can't say for sure because I've never tried that kind of paint. So I apologize for that. But if anybody else here has used glitter paint on the gel plate, holler, let me know. Oh, I'm glad you could be here, Rhonda. I'm really, I was hoping you could be here because I wanted you to see your stuff in action. So, Karen says Becky has done it before with the glitter paint. It is a mess, but beautiful. Well, there you go. Let's see here. Oh, I like that. Just a little bit here and there. Love it. Very nice. Paula prefers the gold leaf flakes. Yep, you can use those on the plate. Alicia says she used glitter glue the other day and it was fine. So you used the glitter glue on the gel plate. Huh. Interesting. Let's see how much we can get off here. Okay. Oh, lovely. This is what I was hoping for. Nice and grungy. It's got some of that gray. It's got some of the violet. Really fun and fabulous. Do another one here. I do like that violet. A good idea sometimes when you're putting your stencil down on your plate is to go over it with the brayer and that ensures that it's laying nice and flat, and you don't get any flippy uppies, especially with the designs that have the more intricate bits going on. A little bit of that. So let's use some micaceous me. It's iron oxide. If you've never used this stuff, it's fabulous. It has mica in it, so it's got a bit of a texture to it. Okay. Let's see, let me see if I can hold that up close enough. See, so it's got that mica in it. It's got a little sparkle going on there, but it's got a texture. Hello, Julie Parker. It's early for you, isn't it, girl? Julie Parker is our friend from down under. No, not under the house. She lives in Australia. Aussie, 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 Aussie. Has anyone ever watched the Australian TV show Cat and Kim? Definitely worth a watch. Hilarious. Very, very funny stuff. Bye, bye, bye. Oh, here, let's use this one here. Again, just touching it lightly, giving a little rubby dubby here and there. Nice. That there. Oh, wonderful. Crunchy goodness. Crunchy goodness. Oh, I knew it was going to be super early there. I'm glad you could join us even for a little bit. I'm here probably maybe another 20 minutes. Um, Hi, Beth. At 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. We're all going to go over to PMR Studio and hang out over there for Thursday Thoughts with Mariah and Patricia. All right, let's get some gray back up on here. Oh no, that was the parchment. Oops. Look gray over here. Hello, Kylie Koo. Look at that. The crowd is certainly international today. Scotland, Australia, Amsterdam, London, America. Do we have any Canadians up in the house? Where my Canucks at? Let's do this one and touchy. This one. Ooh, that's nice, nice, nice. Oh, I love it. So, These are fun papers. I'm gonna hang that to dry. Hello, Linda. How are ya? Welcome. All right, I'm gonna get. Let's do some stamping. This is the. I don't have a name for this. Oh, here it is. Circle Gauze foam stamp. This is from PM Artist Studio. Let's do a little gray. You're just joining me. Today we talked about um, gel print basics. Where's my thing? Best practices. So if you are part of Makers over on Facebook at PM Artist Studio, this is I have um, I posted this gel printing best practices guide that you can download for free over on the Makers. If you're not a part of Makers, you can certainly join. I think there's a link. I don't know if I did the hashtag for Makers or not. Anyway, but I do this for free. I provide it for free. It's a lot of great information there based on my gel printing videos. And so if you feel the need, you can support me over at my Ko-Fi. I just dropped the link there from Nightbot. That is the best way to support me. If you want to, donate or you want to purchase something, like I have downloads on there. So there you go. But this and the opaque paint guide are both available in Makers. Just search me out, see my name. And if you're part of Makers, I've tagged everyone, so you should be tagged and you can find it easily and download it and have at it. But this second one that I put out today, this has a lot of great info. We went over this generally at the beginning of the stream, but there's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good info. No, that's dry. Just need something to hold the paper down. It's probably dry, Eddie. Now, if you've never used acrylic paint and foam stamps, it's a great way to add to your artwork. Just be aware you don't want that paint to dry on your stamp. You want to have some water near you or a little bucket or something, and you want to dip these in there until you have a chance to rinse them out fully. Because if the paint dries on the foam, it seals it and it won't accept any ink, which is importante with the foam stamp, right? So it's okay to use it with acrylic paint. Just make sure that you give it a good rinse off before it dries. There. I pulled some of that up there. These are papers I made last night. Backgrounds for the fall and Halloween, and I'm just adding layers. Let me see. Darken this up a little bit. Some of this brown. Hey, Carol Buckingham, how are you? This is Bert. This is raw umber or rumber. It's like that dance, rumba. Nice. Okay. Sometimes you got to use your little roller and get in there with the paint. You can rumba, but you can't rumba. Okay. Same here, Kylie. My rumba's rumbered out. Hi, Sandy. Welcome. How are ya? One more down here. Okay. Look at that. Sort of Mo. Rum, 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 rum. Ooh la la. Want your gel printies. Don't curl on me. Come on. Pain in my butt. Let's add which one? Yeah, we can add some to here. Maybe make it a little less, not press as hard. Just another layer. So this one has, I believe, 3 layers. So 2 layers of stamping and then a layer of, and then the background, which is a layer. So 2 pages here that still don't have anything. So I'm going to, here, let's do the shadow technique again. But this time, use a darker color. The stamp needs to go into some water. So I've got a little container of water here on the floor next to me. And what I do is I drop them in, and the water, the gravity will kind of start pulling all that paint out. So all you need to do is just rinse it off once you're done and then pat them dry and you'll be good to go. So even if I don't rinse them off right away, as long as they're sitting in the water, they're not going to dry up on you and crust over. Crusty is not good in this situation. It's not good in most situations, but in this situation, it's definitely no bueno. You ain't got time for crusty. Bike Shed reports there were five Gus in glitter encrusted mankini guys, I'm guessing, okay, clutching their CVs apparently out of schedule. See, Paula does the Saints work. She gets out there and she hires people for our nerds. All right, what color are we doing for this? For this one. Que color? This is Lucy Ames Bramble Branches, blah 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 blah. It's a mask of branches. And this is the one. I think we still need to do this one. It's finally dry. It's the one we did open paint, but it did not work. We did the shadow technique, but it did not work. You do like a crusty loaf? It's different. Yeah, crusty's different in food. Yeah. Nice crust on a pie. Nothing wrong with that. No, you know what? Let's use some of this. This is some quinacridone red. It's only red today. It's almost empty. All right. This paint. Wow, that stinks like dirty old man. Ugh. Not work as well. Some of that paint off there. Get some of that extra paint off there so it pulls more off the plate. All right, that's good. You see it and touch it hard. I didn't press on it. I didn't use a Baron because I'm just trying to get bits and pieces. Really fun marks and not necessarily, the perfect print. We want it textured. Yes, this is the shadow technique. One sprayer over that. It's going to get that paint up. I can't use that paint anymore. That paint stinks. It's not bad. Oof. Oy. All right, let's do this Cad Red. You don't smell, do you, Cad Red? No, I don't. Nope. No stinky there. Yes, I saved the murdery red for last. What do you want? Be specific, Julie. You want to see the shadow technique? Show you the last page. So this is the last page. That's it. All right. Okay. There we go. Little bits and pieces. Come back in if I want to add some more. Oops. I didn't want that line, but it's just one layer. On the edge there. There we go. All right, so you go over here, you gotta dry. I think this weekend I'm gonna give baths to my stencils. Some of them are quite thick. They need love and attention. All right, this can dry. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, let's try and pull this here. Um, okay. Try some of this green gold here. This is Blick Fluid Artist Acrylic Gold Green. Oh, of course, yeah. Some red left on the brayer, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Go in this one. Let's see. See how much of that we can pick up. Oh, here we are. Yeah, Karen gave hers a bath the other day too. She conditioned her plates. It's not hard to do, and once you start doing it, it's pretty easy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, conditioning your plate is important. Keeps it nice and happy. And for to achieve that, you want to use a mineral oil, food grade mineral oil, or you can use a baby oil. And you basically um, what do you call that stuff? You rub it on the plate to clean it up, and when you use your fingers, you can feel where there's stuff on there that maybe you didn't see with the naked eye, and you can rubby that stuff away, wipe it down, and you're good to go. Oh no, we got a tear. It's okay. Let's see. Lovely. Now the red is nice. It was a nice addition. It kind of browned out there, and it made it kind of cool and funky and grungy. Uh, clean. Get that off of there. Oh, thanks, Lori. Hey, Dawn. How are ya? Good to see you. All right. What do we got? We'll do some stamping on this one. All right. I think this will be my last one because I do want to eat something before PM Artist Studio starts at 4. So I'm going to make this my last one, but I appreciate you guys hanging out. It's been fun. Let's do the skull. Oh, how often? Well, you don't have to do it all the time. I kind of do it when, let's say, I've used something that stains the plate a little bit, like maybe the pastels, pan pastels, or mark making stuff. Um, I will use the oil to keep that all clean, get that all up. Um, you know, you don't have to condition constantly. That over conditioning can also negatively affect the plate. So, kind of when you feel that it's not sticky or it's not pulling right, um, or the edges feel dry, that's a good time to condition. Um, but and Kylie says she's had her plates for years. She's never conditioned them, so it's all personal. But it's something I like to do just for um, my own benefit, my own it makes me feel better. That's the word. It makes me feel better. All right. Skull stamp. Let's do, what color do we want to skull them in? Oh, here, let's use this deep violet. Some of this here. on. There's some left in here. We'll scrape you out. We'll scrape it out. There we go. Just enough. Don't need that much. Hi, Eric. Yeah, I would stay on longer, but like I said, I do want to get something in my belly. And this is a skull stamp, one of, I think, 3 that they have over at PM Artist Studio. And there are skull stencils as well. And the website has a great search engine. So go over there, play around with it. And there's great, it's broken down into all kinds of different categories. It gives you seasons, it gives you, shapes or grungy or anything like that. But it's got a great search tool. And then it's also broken down by designer. So let's say you want to look at my designs. You can either come here, watch the live stream, enter, hashtag Eddie. That takes you to all my designs. But if you go on the website, there's all the designers are listed in the featured area. So you could choose like Paula Keen, who's Keen in the chat here, or you can choose Rhonda, and it will show you stencils and foam stamps, and you can select which one you want, and it'll show you all their stamps and all their stencils in there. So, all right, guys. So thank you guys for joining me today. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you got some good information. And hopefully, I can do this again next week. I think I'll be able to manage this Tuesday, Thursday thing. So look forward to those thumbnails. I'll post those in Makers once I get that all scheduled up. And until then, bye. Take care, everyone. I'll see you at PM Artist Studio.